Hello and welcome back to my channel, Stitch It with Rachel. My name is Rachel and this is Knitting Podcast episode number 9. Sorry for the change of scenery again, guys. There's a lot going on in the rest of the house. So we've moved again. I added a cute little swatch board though. I've got my knitting books here, all my other books. So hopefully it's not too busy in the background. It's definitely not boring. Let me know what you guys think. So, normal podcast episode today, I have 2.5 finished objects, 3 whips, and 2 small acquisitions. So, let's just jump right into it. Starting off with finished objects, I'm going to start with a half finished object. So, technically, this was a finished object in last episode. They're my Shrimply The Best Socks by Stone Knits, but now the eyes are on. And I feel like it just makes such a difference. Like, they just really pop now. They're just so cute. So I'm really glad I finally got around to it and finished the eyes on these. Now they're officially finished and I think they look so stinking cute. I cannot wait to wear them with my Birkenstocks this fall. And I had a blast. I did a French knot for the eye, which she links a tutorial for. It was super easy. I just used my darning needle to do that. And yeah, now these guys are ready to go and be worn and loved, and they're just so cute. Again, these are the Shrimply The Best Socks by Stone Knits. I do not have a project page for these. I started them a year ago when I wasn't really using Ravelry, and then I finished them recently. So there's no notes because I made all kinds of changes. I talked about all that in the last episode. So there will not be a Ravelry page for these. If you have specific questions, drop them in the comments. But yeah, so that's my half finished project. It was technically finished before, but now it's like finished. So those are the socks. Next finished object was almost done last episode, and that is the Seaside sweater by Petite Knit. It's a little wrinkly because it's been folded up, but it just turned out so cute. I knit the size 2 to 3 years old. This is for my friend Macy. Her son Lane's first birthday is in October, and I really wanted a special present to give her / Lane. I mean, really it's for the mom at this age, I feel like, but regardless. And so I knit this using Cascade Heritage sock yarn, superwash merino nylon blend, and I find this particular yarn super soft, so I knew this would be great for baby. It's going to be machine washable and dryable. This is a DK weight pattern, so I did hold 2 strands of fingering weight together. It worked beautifully. I would totally knit this exact pattern again in that yarn held double again. Like, really loved knitting it. Love the finished fabric. Worked up like a dream. Yeah, no complaints. I still am on the hunt for buttons. We've got this cute little button placket at the top. We'll see if you can actually see that. So I need to get some buttons and sew them on so I can officially finish this and have it ready to go for October. I bought the cutest buttons on Etsy that had little bears on them because my friend is a park ranger, and they have like an animal forest themed nursery room, and I just it was gonna be so cute with the green and the cream. Like, it's gonna be adorable. And the baby's also a redhead, so the green obviously. Alas, the buttons, though super cute, when they arrived said right on them, do not put in the washing machine or the dryer, which I obviously didn't read that when I bought them. So I'm gonna have to find something else to put those buttons on, and I'm still on the hunt. So if you have button recommendations, please drop them in the comments and let me know. I'm thinking maybe just a simple wooden button now. They're, I believe, 3/4 inch buttons that I need. So anyways, other than that, this is done, and yeah, I had a blast. I followed everything to pattern. I made one mistake, which luckily I don't think is very visible, but I'll show you guys the second. I'm gonna try to hold this. So this And this piece of green here is accidentally 6 rows instead of 5. And so it's just the tiniest bit wider, which I think from afar, if you don't know, isn't that noticeable. Now that I pointed it out, like, you've probably noticed it, but I doubt a non-knitter is gonna notice that really. Still super cute. So, and yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. I will have a Ravelry page linked down below for this project with all the details. If you have any specific questions, as always, drop them in the comments. And yeah, loved the yarn, loved the pattern, loved the outcome. I will definitely make this again. This only took me 4 days, guys. 4 days of actual knitting. I think it was on the needles for a week total, but I actually knit on it for 4 days and it's finished. So this is going to be my go-to like baby gift knit for all future nephews. I love doing baby blankets, but they just take so much longer. And I like that this is a wearable piece that's hand knit. I feel like it's fairly common, or at least in my family, to get a hand knit or crocheted like baby blanket or even a hand sewn baby blanket, but like garments, nobody else does those. And so like sometimes people get like 6 or 8 baby blankets, which are great. You need a few, but like maybe not that many. So this will be good. This will give me something else that I can gift all the babies in my family and for my friends. It was enjoyable to knit, and I think it'll get a lot of wear, you know what I mean? So yeah, super excited about that. Have that done. And baby's birthday is in October, so I'm like way ahead of schedule, which is, we love. We love that. So that's Seaside Sweater by Petite Knit. And last finished object I might be the most excited about is my Richland Shawl. Oh, sorry, the camera moved, guys. By Dee O'Keefe. This was a knit along I did with my friend Teresa. Hold on, let me unfold her here. Isn't she gorgeous? I'm obsessed. Oh my goodness. So Richland Shawl by Dee O'Keefe. I knit this with Trilogy Yarns Silky Yak, which is a blend of merino, silk, and yak. This was my first time using like a luxury blend fiber, so that was really exciting. And my first time using yak, and the yak was so soft. This is gonna be so nice wrapped around me in the fall and the winter. I love the color. The colorway is called Aqua. Hopefully it's showing up pretty well. There's definitely like a tealy green to me more than an aqua. But yeah, I'm obsessed. I love the color. And the pattern, this is my first time doing a Dee O'Keefe pattern, and super well written. It is both charted and written instructions, and I thought it was super well explained. I'm a chart girly myself, but I'm trying to show you guys how this looks while I wear it, if I'm gonna wear it like this. I think it would be a great beginner friendly lace slash shawl pattern. The lace is a really simple repeat, and she has, again, great instructions for it. And there's 2 special stitches. One of them is the star stitch, which is the texture over here. And then the other one is this twisted little line stitch that goes this way, that borders both ends of the lace work. And there's video tutorials to like show you and explain how to do that, because sometimes the written like descriptions don't always make sense, and then you see it and you're like, oh, okay. So that was super helpful. I knit everything to pattern, with the slight exception of that I knit it larger. So, and she does though have in the pattern on the like page that has the chart, it has little boxes with like chart repeats for size small, size large, and then like the other sizes, like additional repeats kind of thing. So you can mark them off as you go along, which I found very helpful. And then I like that she had the additional ones on there that weren't even like officially in the pattern, which was really nice too. So I knit mine in that larger size. I don't remember how many repeats of the chart it was. I want to say it was 36-ish maybe, but the details will be in my Ravelry notes. And it just made it like the perfect length. I can wrap it around my shoulders like as a cute actual shawl. It can wrap around my neck as like a perfect like cozy scarf. It's just the exact size that I was going for. The drape in this yarn is so nice. I don't think I mentioned this is a DK weight yarn. And I used just barely over 3 skeins, which is a little frustrating. But thankfully I bought 4 because I kind of knew I'd probably want the bigger size and end up needing that little bit extra. Like I'd rather pay to have the extra skein and knit it bigger than save on the 1 skein of yarn and have it be smaller and not really wear it. So it was worth it. But I have like, I haven't weighed it, but I'd say it's probably close to 80 to 85 grams left of that 4th skein. And so that's enough to do something with. I think it might be enough to do a hat or something. So I need to try to like find some kind of pattern. I want to use that up. Like the yarn is so nice. I don't want that to just like waste away my stash for years and years and years and just like forget about it. So if you have any pattern recommendations for like a small amount of DK weight yarn, please let me know. Drop it in the comments. Yeah, I think that's all I really have to say. It is too hot to wear this on my shoulders. I'm sweating already, guys. It's still in the 90s here. I am so ready for fall, but fall's not here yet, unfortunately. So this is gonna get put back away until that chillier weather arrives. And yeah, we're gonna move on to whips. I have 3 whips to talk about today. We're gonna start with my sweater. So last episode, this was just a little swatch. It was this one right here. And I have made so much progress, you guys. Not only have I cast on, finished the yoke, joined in the round, and gotten a good chunk of the body done. So these cables are scrumptious. So this is the front porch sweater by Pearl Jam. I'm using Drops Lima in the colorway Sea Green Mix. And I love this. The color to me is like a really like pretty dusty kind of teal, which suits, I feel like, my complexion really well. I feel like all of my knits, my garment knits, have been in the blue-green-ish shade range recently. But like a girl likes what a girl likes. So this is my first time knitting a garment in Drops Lima. I did my cardigan in Nepal, which is basically the same yarn composition, just different weight. And yeah, this is knitting up beautifully. I feel like it gives a really good stitch definition. Hopefully the camera's picking that up. And yeah, it's just been so much fun. So I am now just zooming along on the body in the round. Knitting flat for the top really wasn't a problem. I don't mind knitting flat, it doesn't really bother me. The construction for this was really interesting. I've never done a construction like this for a sweater before. So you cast on this little back piece and then you do increases, which is what creates this really nice line right there, which is, I think, is a really nice design detail. And then you knit for a certain length and then you pick up along that increase line that you did and you do short rows to shape the back shoulder basically, and then it comes around and you stop the short rows and then you're just knitting and you knit the front piece and then cast on and you join the fronts of the round after you do the same on the other side. So it's just really interesting construction I hadn't done before. Really enjoyed it. The short rows I feel like look really good. I'm rather impressed with myself. Like, aside from the difference in like length, I don't know that I would know that there were short rows down there. Like, I feel like it blends in really seamlessly and I love that. So that was a little bit of an adventure, which was really fun. I like to knit patterns that teach me something new, and so yeah, really enjoyed that. The pattern overall is super clear. I've had no issues with the pattern itself. The issues that I've had have been because my gauge has been a little bit off, so completely my own fault. So my stitch gauge was correct. I never measured my row gauge. I just basically never measure my row gauge because it's almost never like a problem. You know what I mean? Like if I need to just like shorten the yoke of a sweater or lengthen it or whatever, like I just do that. Like it's just never been a really big deal. But with the construction of this sweater, your row gauge matters. So I found that out the hard way. And by the time I got there, I didn't want to rip back and restart. I didn't even know if I could hit gauge. You know what I mean? Like, so the rest of the yoke after knitting the back piece was like the Wild West. All of my stitch counts were wrong. Like my repeat was a little bit off in places. Like it was the Wild West. It was a little bit of a hot mess. but I did some math and some finagling, and we finished the yoke and got her in the round. So hopefully all works out in the end with the blocking. I think it'll be fine. I think I might end up with a sweater that's, after it blocks, that's a little bit wider than I initially wanted, but I did want this to be like an oversized cozy cable sweater. So a little bit more oversized I don't think will be too bad of a thing. So hopefully we won't run into issues with that later. But so that's the only kind of like issue I've had, but again, it was like my own fault, not the pattern. Pattern itself I found very clear, like I understand what it's asking me to do and how to do it. I've just had issues with stitch count. So I'm so excited to get this finished for fall. It is the end of August and we're already here, which is good because I have a lot of other fall knitting plans, which will be coming up soon. That'll be my next video, all my fall knitting plans. And so I really want to get this off the needles and have it be a finished project, but I'm also trying to not rush it. Like, I'm trying to remind myself that I do enjoy the act of knitting and to just enjoy working on a project instead of rushing to cast on the next one. So trying to remind myself of that while I work on this. And I do think now that I'm in the body and the round, I don't want to say I'm bored with it because I'm not bored. It's basically like an easy stockinette project at this point because the cables are, it's the same cable. It's a right leaning cable, the same thing at the exact same amount of rows every time. I don't have to keep track of anything. So it's basically a stockinette project. And I think at some point to kind of break that up, because I really do want the body to be long. I do not like a crop sweater on me. I don't find them flattering. So I think I will pick up and cast on the collar. I feel like that also really makes it look like a sweater. And it also is going to kind of like pull things in a little bit, and so then I'll have a better idea of how to knit the sleeves once that's in there as well. And then I might knit a sleeve, come back, finish the body, knit the other sleeve, I don't know, something like that to kind of just break up that bit of body I'm knitting on. But super pleased with how fast this has gone, and I'm really enjoying it. This is my first cabled sweater, and it's just, I think that the cables themselves are super easy. The construction at the beginning might be a little hard if you're a newer knitter, but if you're adventurous and determined, I think you can do anything. So like, yes, I recommend the pattern. It's also size inclusive. Generally speaking, I will not knit or talk about a pattern on here that's not size inclusive. And if I ever do, please let me know so I can correct myself. So that is my front porch sweater, my first cabled sweater of the fall, and I am loving it. So next whip I'm going to talk about is another new cast on since last time, and I'm super excited about this. So this is the, I don't actually know the name for it. It was a Knit Picks pattern that I bought last year, and it's a double knit snowflake scarf. And so I have never done, I just did double knitting for the first time on the button band of my step-by-step cardigan, but I've never done color work double knitting. So I literally just taught myself this week and got this far. I'm on like row 16. And this is gonna be, I'll pop up a picture what the finished scarf is supposed to look like. And this is gonna be a Christmas present for my mom, which is part of why I'm starting it so early, because that's coming up way faster than we want to think about. But this really wasn't that hard. I really thought it was going to be a struggle to like learn this new technique, and once I kind of figured, like once I got in the rhythm of it, I was like, oh, that's all? Like, so like, do not let things that look hard stop you from trying them. Like, be delusional, cast them on and figure it out, and like you're gonna learn it, and then you're gonna be doing it, and then you'll learn a new skill. Like, that's how I feel about that. So this has been really fun. It is something, like the actual knitting is not hard. The hard part is keeping track of the chart and counting like how many stitches of which color to do based on which side I'm on, because for every 2 stitches on here is actually 1 stitch on the chart. And so it's not as easy in like color work where I can just go like, oh, I did 5 green, 3 orange, it's time for 2 green. Like, it's not as easy to like count like that, because there's a blue and a white for every stitch all the way across. And so you have to see whether the blue or the white is first, but in order to do that, you have to know like where you are. I don't know if I'm explaining this well at all. So anyways, the knitting itself is not hard. It's the keeping track of the chart and the color you're supposed to be knitting. So that's really the only hard thing. It's coming along really well. I'm super excited to have learned a new skill, and yeah, this is just, I'm excited to see this change. I didn't mention I'm knitting this in the recommended yarn of the pattern, which is Knit Picks Chroma fingering weight. So it's a variegated ombre changing color yarn, and then I just got the white to match. It is a single ply yarn with a very light twist, which I'm not loving. I just feel like my stitches are a little sloppy, but I did take this to my local yarn store and I asked one of the girls there, I'm like, is this gonna block out, or do I need to like drop a needle size? Do I maybe need to try a different kind of yarn? And she was like, no, like this should block out. So I'm gonna finish this first big snowflake, which maybe it's easier to see on the white side. So where are we? Yeah. So this, and this are like the bottom like points of this first like big like snowflake. That's gonna kind of be like this. So I want to get past that like first big snowflake, and then I think I'm gonna do a mid-project block, just leave it on the red cord and block it, or put it on barber cord, and just see if things smooth out, because if they don't, and I knit this entire scarf on whatever size needles these are, small 3.25 millimeter needles, I'm gonna cry. So yeah, that is my snowflake scarf from my mom for Christmas, and I don't really think I have anything else to say about it. So moving on to my third whip is a sock project, and it is my, oh my god, I passed my registry exam socks. So if you've been around here, you know what those are. But I am knitting these with a skein of yarn my friend Teresa gifted me for graduation. It's this gorgeous, I believe the colorway was called Glacier, which is like spot on for these colors. And I've made quite a bit, well, quite a bit, I've made progress. So I was stuck on just the cuff, and so I finished the cuff, and then I did my heel flap and turn, and I'm almost done with the gusset. And then once I'm done with the gusset and I'm just like endlessly knitting stockinette, this will finish so quickly. I can knit a sock in a day if I have like nothing else going on. So really excited to get this finished. I have not cast on any new socks. So I still only have 2 sock projects on the needles as part of sock boot camp this summer. So that is these registry exam socks, and then I still have my polka dot socks I need to finish. I have not touched those yet. I've been a little busy other places and so that's the sock update, and this is just a vanilla cuff down. I decided, ooh, I almost knocked over my drink with my yarn. Heel flap and gusset, I use 2.25 millimeter needles that are 9-inch mini chalgoos. It's the only thing I knit socks on, and 72 stitches. I'm a size large. I have a women's 10 in US size, or a 41-42 in European size. And I knit the cuff really tall on these because I want the cuff to like show up, like to show at the top of my like brown boots this fall, because there is a little bit of like brown in here, and I feel like that's just gonna look so cute. So I have slowed down on sock boot camp. I think last episode I said I wanted to have these and my polka dot socks finished, but after I finished 3 pairs of socks for last episode, I don't want to say I was burnt out, but I definitely like I needed some bigger needles in my hands. So between the shawl, the DK weight baby sweater, and then the amount of work I've done on my cabled sweater, like my hands have gotten that break, and so I'm kind of getting back into these. And I have socks I want to cast on for fall, and so I'm telling me I have to at least finish these. If my polka dot socks don't get finished before I cast on another pair, I'm okay with that. Ideally I would like to, but also like I'm human, let's be reasonable, right? So that is my last finished object, and so now I just have 2 small acquisitions. So I have 2, so these are both sock yarns that I've acquired. I have 2. I have acquired some sweater quantities of yarn, but I'm gonna do a fall knitting plans video, and so I'm gonna just share those there because I bought them with the purpose of knitting fall sweaters with those. And so I'm just going to share that information in that one. And so I have my August, September. These are Septembers. This is the September colorway from the Farmer's Daughters Fibers Sock Club. So if you are a part of that and you haven't for any reason gotten your package or don't want to see it, don't look at this. And here they are. It's coming up kind of darker on screen, I feel like. This is like a much more like lighter kind of like, I'm gonna say like camel-y latte kind of color. And then there's these little speckles of like dark brown and teal. Hopefully you guys can, the lighting's getting a little weird in here. And then this gorgeous, super cute mini. This colorway kind of feels like pumpkin spice to me with the orange, but then those little pops of teal. I think part of me is tempted to not do this mini with this sock and do like a teal to really pull that teal out, but also I feel like these colors together are very like fall pumpkin spice vibes, and I think those would be so cute. So really excited for these. I'm so glad that I switched from the Yarnable sock subscription to Farmer's Daughters Fibers. I'm much happier with these colorways. I'm also getting more bang for my buck because I'm getting a mini with every skein and it's cheaper. So the second skein of sock yarn that I bought this month was because I took and passed my mammography registry exam. So for those of you who don't know or haven't been following, I am a licensed x-ray tech. That's what I just graduated for in May. I passed my test, which is what my, oh my God, I passed my registry exam socks are for. And then this summer I did training in mammography. And then just this last week, I sat and passed my mammography certification board. So I'm now officially a licensed certified mammographer. Super exciting. And so I went to the yarn store that day after passing my test and went shopping to pick out a skein of pink sock yarn to cast on as my second pair of, oh my God, I passed my registry exam socks. So here is that skein of yarn. This is a Trilogy skein, and we've got some really gorgeous pinks and then those little pops of teal. Oh, I just realized it like literally perfectly matches my kimono. That's really funny. I have colors, guys, what can I tell you? Yeah, so super excited about this. I think these are gonna knit up so fun. I'm not sure if I want to do a contrast color yet or if I'm just gonna kind of let this be like my other registry socks. But yeah, so super excited about that. Hopefully I want to cast this on, I think, after I finish my x-ray registry socks. And so then I can at least have these on the needles. I have no end date. I'll finish them when I finish them. I'm not too worried about it. But I would like to get them cast on here in the next month before my next podcast. So those are my yarny acquisitions. And that's really all I have to talk about today. I will have a fall knitting plans video coming out here probably in about another week. I'm so excited for fall. I'm so ready for sweater weather and cables and coziness. I am over 90-100 degrees and sweating to death. Like, I want to be cozy again. I feel like fall is like knitters. It's our time of year. It's our time to shine. You know what I mean? Fall and winter. And so I'm just super ready for it. So I'm so excited to tell you all about all those plans. Look out for that video next, and thanks for being here.